Hello and welcome everyone. How are you doing? I would love to hear in the comments what you're experiencing, how things are going, what's coming up for you. It's such rapid shifts now that it can even shift like from an hour to the next. Energetically, it's really interesting. And I was guided to do a video now. There's so much information coming in, so I'll try to keep it at what they told me to share at this moment, because everything is so interconnected. But I will do my best to make it clear and concise this this part. And I want to repeat something I said in the last video as well, of keeping focused on the present moment and keeping focused on whatever comes up in any moment for you. Because when there are such rapid shifts and everything is becoming so different than what we have experienced before, the more we can free ourselves of the expectations of things being or happening in the way it has been before, the more easy it will be for us to go through this. If we have expectations of how long something is going to take, or how the process is going to look, or how you're going to react to things, you're actually putting your past into your current moment and your future, and not letting yourself shift as much as you might be able to do now, and as much as you're asked to do. So trying to really stay in the present moment and take whatever comes up, no matter whether it's feeling just amazing and awesome and it's at top. Then don't dig for the shadows when you're in that space. Just enjoy it and be in that frequency. And when there's something coming up, look at it. Become really aware of what thought patterns and what beliefs and what emotions are underneath it, and bring that up to your awareness. Feel the emotions through, so it can actually release from the body. Become aware of those belief systems that are underneath, so that you can change them. And become aware of what thoughts are starting these loops, so that you can actually consciously choose differently as you move forward. If we are trying to be different than what we are, or we are expecting ourselves to feel something different, or to be in a different situation, or we're not accepting what is, which is so easy when it's intense. We are actually letting the chance go away from bringing or coming to the gift of what is in the moment and what we can actually grow from. So if we run away from the present moment, we are running away often from the chance to do the shifts that are available for us. And we will also be in resistance energetically to what our body and what our light, what the energetic, what can I call it? Well, the energy is what the present moment is ready to help you with, and what your body is ready to shift, and what your awareness is ready to grow from. And that will only create suffering. So really, really be present. And I'm not saying this from a point of having it all figured out myself. There are times now that I have to really bring myself back several times per minute, because I'm going into old loops. So they are really coming up, to be seen, to gain that awareness, and to then actually have the choice and to make the choice of going or stopping those thought patterns, of changing those beliefs, so that we can move forward in a higher frequency and actually embody all the light coming in, embody more of who we are, and then keep moving into a new frequency. I wanted to talk a little bit about fear. And I've been talking about this before, and I will for sure be talking about it again at some time, because this is something which is one of the main things that are going on in the collective. There's a lot of fear, and we are clearing the fear. The fear is an energy, a consciousness of a very low vibration, a low frequency. And what fear does, because fear is only an illusion. And I had an experience as I was doing some energy work on myself a few days ago. And I want to share this just as an example of how doing the work or becoming aware of something and shifting, releasing the emotions and shifting beliefs and gradually going deeper and deeper and deeper. We get deeper layers and understandings of what we already know. So this is what I experienced. I was suddenly, while I was doing this energy work, this happens quite often, that I have now like 3 perspectives. I have a perspective from inner earth, I have a perspective from the universe, and I have this perspective of the physical plane that we are in, and sometimes at the same time. So I was pulled up at the same time as I was in my body and doing this energy work and aware of what was going on. I was seeing everything from above, and I was shown like I want to say cloud, and I'm not saying cloud in a darkness way or a evil way or anything. Like, that's not what I mean. What I mean is simply that there is something that looks much more dense and much more, well, it is so dense that it looks more real than what it really is. So if you have, for example, a thunderstorm, and you have this really super black clouds, and it looks like it's like a wall. And then you have different clouds that are, lighter rainy clouds, and then you have this white, really thin clouds so you can see the sun through. You have all these layers. But when it looks very dark and when it looks very thick and you can't see through, it's easy when you then are underneath the sky or the cloud to look or to think that it's impossible to come through. But when you are in an airplane, for example, and you're flying through the clouds, you see that it's only air. It's not physically dense in that sense. It's not what it looked like maybe from the ground. It's not a super good metaphor, but it's the easiest way for me to explain it right now. And what I could see so clearly, because I was seeing like this, almost like a cloud. And how can I say this? The thing is that it's not something that is like it's not something we're powerless to, or something that is being kept in place, sort of. It's something that is only an illusion. That's what was so clear to me. It is only an illusion, and it is because we believe in it that we keep it in place. Like as if you just keep believing that the sky is black and always full of clouds, you won't see the sun, or you won't have an experience of the sun. Again, not the very best example, but it's just to try to give a picture of it. But as this is something you can actually move through, and the reality is actually outside of it, above it, and the reality you think you are in, just within this vacuum, within or underneath the cloud, is something you only believe because it's what you've seen. and it's what you've been told, and you are in all these programs that keeps the fear in place. But when you understand and really see that it's just an illusion, it loses the charge. And what fear does, no matter what type of fear it is, because we have so much fear in our societies, and this is some of the reason why the shifts we are going through are so intense collectively. Because there's so much built up to hold this fear around us and for us to believe that it's something real. Because as long as we are believing it's real, it's, it won't move. And we are so programmed, whether it is the fear of being judged, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of too high expectations, the fear of being too loud, the fear of being too silent, the fear of missing out on something, the fear of not being good enough. There's so many belief systems that are anchored or that are anchoring this fear on the planet. And when we are doing this work to actually clear ourselves of these programs, becoming aware of the programs, shifting our belief systems, this energy is clearing, and that's what we're doing collectively now. So for example, when I was doing this energy work on Wednesday, one of my big themes has always been the fear of what everyone else thinks of me, or how I'm being perceived. And that's something I've been working on, in this spiral, like going deeper, and it's been a lot less of it than it has been, and I've been, taking my steps. But in that moment, when it was like I saw it all in such a different way than I've been shown it before, the rest of that charge that was there was just, in a second, it was just gone. And then when we experience things like this, the thing afterwards then is to keep making the choices and keep connecting back into that feeling and that insight. Because so much of our lives and so much of our patterns, our ways of doing things are they are rooted in these belief systems and in these fears, because these fears are piercing through so much of our society, that then we have to make those choices. And then we have to really commit to that if we want to do those changes. So I wanted to share that experience and that example to show that even though something is coming up again, even though we worked on it several times before, it's just a deeper level, it's a deeper layer. You are getting to the core, and it will at a certain point actually release. And you have to choose to believe in it, in you, in your ability to do this. And it has so much to do with our choices. Now there's one thing they have asked me to make very clear in the message today, which is going on collectively now, and that is the addiction to distraction, because there's a collective addiction to distraction. We have all different types of opportunities to distract ourselves, to, whether it's social media, whether it's television, whether it's calling someone just to get away from whatever's in the moment, if it's a matter of distraction. Eating something, substances, there's there's everything, basically anything can be used as a distraction. And being conscious of when you're doing something as a distraction is key at this moment. Because if there's a distraction, there's a fear there. It can be the fear of feeling the emotions that are actually coming to the surface. It can be a fear of acknowledging what's going on. It can be, there's so many things, but there's a fear underneath. And what they have been showing me is that while this fear is clearing now, and the things that we will be going to see the coming months in the collective, which they say is there's going to be surprises for everyone, they say. But so much will make this addiction to distraction to be very, very evident. And the more we can start to really practice, if we're not already doing it, is to become aware of when you're actually distracting yourself, and to be present, coming back to that present moment like I talked about in the beginning. Because that's the fear. So if when we want to clear this fear, if we then actually take the opportunity when you are just doing something to distract yourself, and you're like, okay, I'm actually about to distract myself. What am I afraid of? What is it I'm trying to avoid? The moment you do that, you are starting to clear more of the fear that is anchored on this planet, and that's what we're doing collectively now. And that's something that we will be seeing in the collective as things are moving, or the way things will be moving the coming months. There will be more and more confusion and emotional varieties of emotional waves, in a way that we can see in the collective. With these distractions, because that has to do with not wanting to see what it actually is and what really is. So that's a really important and good tool to start using and become aware of. There is also, I've been told, a lot of people, well, there's two sides of this. There's a lot of activity in dream state, and of people that are aware of what's going on, are having a very different dream space than people that are not as aware of what's going on. So for the group that don't have so much of that awareness, or have just recently woken up or are waking up the time to come, I've been shown a lot, many of them have very active dream space, and they're dreaming of things that will be unfolding, or things that are symbolizing things that will unfold, or about different aspects of what will be unfolding. The reason why is that they are being prepared on a subconscious level of what is going to come up, what is going to be shifted in the collective and in the society, in order to prevent a huge collective in cognitive dissonance as things are coming up. So this is, when I got all the connections with what they told me, I thought I was really, really genius, and really beautiful way that this is happening, because it's not really coming like in the face and into complete cognitive dissonance, because that will not be helping the collective or the shift, so that people are actually being prepared subconsciously in their dream space without having it sort of thrown in their faces, and that to create a lot of fear. So if you're experiencing that, then maybe this can help to explain why. There's a lot of opening between the heart and the throat going on now, and that has to do with the expression of our truth. That has to do with actually standing in our truth, grounding the truth, being in our own energy, our own sovereign field, and expressing. So a lot of people, they have showed me, will be experiencing different types of, that be symptoms or situations coming up where this will be essential, or it will have to do with this area and with this, and this is really an opening, because how they're showing me this is like as if the opening has been like this, and now the opening is just like it's getting as wide as the body, and then the energy, the channel is widening out even more, and expressing what's on our heart, that's the throat chakra. So it's the connection between those two that are really opening. Then there's one last thing, I don't want to make it too long, that I have been shown, and I was told to just mention it, so I'll do that now in the end. I've been shown Australia for quite some time. I've been shown several points, specific points in Australia, and what I have been receiving over the last days is that there are all this energy coming up from the inner earth that I've been talking about before. All this energy is the high frequency that is coming up, is helping a lot with the shift that is going on now. So the energy is coming in from the universe, from the cosmos, and it's coming up from the inner earth. Now in Australia, there's almost like, what they showed me is that the energy is almost like a shake-up, because the grid is shifting, because there's activation points with this energy that is coming up from the inner earth now, which means that some of, like the way they show this to me, and you take what resonates and you leave the rest, is that there are patterns that makes up this grid system, and there are some of these main points that are shifting because of the energy that is coming up, and that's shifting the whole geometrical sort of pattern, and that when that is happening, it feels like a shake-up until the new grid gets sort of grounded and settled, and this has to do with the energies from the inner earth, now is what I'm being shown, not as much the energy coming from the universe and the cosmos. So these are very, very specific energies, and very specifically orchestrated from the inner earth. Yeah, I think I will leave it at that at this point. I hope this is helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments how things are going for you. If this resonates, please share if you know someone who can have help from this, or if you feel that it can be helpful for others to watch it. I will see you in the next video, and keep doing the work, keep going. We are shifting, and I thank you for being here. Bye bye.